Rumpelstiltskin is an old German story by Brothers Grimm about an imp who spins straw into gold. Fabulous, isn't it? Well, nothing comes for free, at least not in this fairy tale, and he requires something of you, especially if you're a maiden. Nothing much, just your firstborn child. Welcome to Check That Book, a special place where we get acquainted with the most disturbing books ever written. And today we are once again taking a look at the disturbing origins of fairy tales. Rumpelstiltskin. The moral of the original fairy tale is wonderful. Always be honest, no matter how hard it is, and take responsibility for your actions. Great message. Love it. Why is it on the list then? Why is it disturbing? Let's get a bit deeper into it. But before we talk about the titular character, how did this mess begin in the first place? How did it all start? Well, a poor miller trying to impress the king appeared as a somewhat important character, lying to the king that his daughter spins straw into gold masterfully. The king puts this to the test and says that if she won't manage the task until morning, then she will be put to death. Great basis, everyone. Bravo. The miller is a fucker, the king is the fucker. Poor lass, what's she gonna do, right? Well, she asks Rumpelstiltskin for help. How did she come by? Well, I mean, read the fairy tale first and foremost. I'm not going to be retelling the fairy tale here completely. I'm here to discuss its disturbing aspects. But the overall picture is clear, right? Her father is a dick and a liar. The king is the dick, forces her to prove it and threatens her with, death penalty, and she has no choice. I mean, that could be this basis is perfect for any other fairy tale, right? I mean, you can replace Rumpelstiltskin with, I don't know, any witch or wizards or any other magical creature who can grant wishes or do your bidding. But yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. What about him? Rumpelstiltskin, the title character, is a mysterious gnome like man who spins straw into gold for the benefit of a beautiful miller's daughter in the original fairy tale, in exchange for her future firstborn child. The little man reappears to demand his payment when the young woman, now the queen, bears her first child. After she begs him to release her from this thoughtless vow, he agrees to it, but with a condition. He gives her 3 days to figure out his name. She never knew the creature's name. Some cultures argue that he could be actually a demon figure, one of the demons. Why not? The devil himself, even perhaps. I mean, it depends on the cultural background. There are some retellings of the story, but you'll never know. He's this, much like you, Elvis, this little gnome-like fun creature who possesses magical abilities. But where does this antagonist come from? This creature who makes trades with people in desperate situations. One of them with the miller's daughter, like we said. He gives people opportunity to guess his name. The miller's daughter, when she becomes queen, which is already a troublesome thing, because if the king would threaten me with death, fuck that, I'm not going to discuss this. Sounds abusive, sounds fucking dangerous, as disturbing as is, but okay, so her father boasts her off as if she is this enchantress, right? She makes gold out of straw. She fulfills her tasks with the aid of Rumpelstiltskin. Well, then she becomes queen because obviously the king would want to marry a girl who can, make gold out of basically nothing. Jesus, this is so sad, even without Rumpelstiltskin. But now let's bring him back into the game. So he's this mystical creature, presumably a demon, that will come and grant you your wish, but he demands payment. And once she's queen, he comes to her and says, well, now give me what's promised. He just magically appears in her room, which is already scary. But yeah, he goes on with it, and like I said, he agrees, maybe to his amusement, to let her guess his name, which is a weird one. We'll talk about it a bit later. She guesses it by overhearing, and this is going to be really dark and weird right now. This is bizarre. The antagonist of the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin commits suicide. And to trust you me, this is the weirdest way to end one's life I've ever seen. Read, I mean, in a book at least. Well, spoiler alert, it's kind of a package deal when we discuss disturbing fairy tales, because this is arguably the most disturbing point in the book, besides everything else I've mentioned. He stamps his foot so hard on the ground that he falls down to his waist. Then he grabs his other foot and rips himself apart. I can imagine it, and that's the worst part. I can imagine it because I've seen some weird shit. That would be hell of a film. So Rumpelstiltskin rips himself up from the middle, thus ending his own life, perhaps out of frustration that somebody has finally guessed his name. In Germany, Rumpelstiltskin is the name of a goblin, by the way, similar to Rumpelgeist, which means rattle ghost, or, more commonly, poltergeist. Now, if this is not a freaky story to tell your children, then I don't know what is. I mean, we'll still cover more, but this one, when I was a child, Rumpelstiltskin kind of frightened me because of his sudden appearances and reappearances. But it made me think, what if I was a lad? Would he still require my firstborn child? Would he still demand I give him the firstborn? Perhaps, I believe. Now, there's another question. Why would he even want a child? Firstborn or not, I don't care. What does he want with the baby? Well, there's been speculations that, first and foremost, cannibalism, right? Or, if we think about it, he's not really a human. So, does it count as cannibalism? On the brighter side, Rumpelstiltskin is speculated to be related to the 7 dwarfs from Snow White, even going as far as saying that he is one of their cousins or brothers, like another dwarf, just an outcast or the odd one out for reasons unknown to us. Perhaps, but maybe it's like a dwarf turned evil. Maybe so, maybe so. But there's another version that speculates that if Rumpelstiltskin is a demon-like creature, then he would want a firstborn, an innocent child who has an innocent soul, because demons consume souls, apparently. And that is equally as disturbing. So, fun stuff. The moral of the story, I guess, don't lie about yourself or your loved ones, right? Stay away from abusive kings. But the moral is good. Don't lie, because lying will get you nowhere. Or worse, it will get you in dark situations that sometimes, I mean, the miller's daughter was in luck when she managed to overhear and thusly guess Rumpelstiltskin's name, but she lived in fear for a long while. Plus, Marrying that sort of an abusive king sounds questionable to me. Questionable in terms of happiness. Not a good story. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like disturbing content or some lighter content, such as today, still disturbing though, consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb and make sure to subscribe for more. I shall see you all as soon as possible. Take good care of yourselves and your loved ones, and don't lie about yourself or your loved ones, fine? Right? Okay. Cheers.